Hello everybody, how are you? Sorry that I'm a little bit late. It's what happens sometimes, right? Uh, so I will go over what we have for discussion today. Let's see. First off, last live stream, I tried to recreate this website from Dive Capital, and there was some feedback I got from the Greenshift community, from Igor to be specific, and he made a nice post about how he watched my stream. So that's a very good thing. Igor is very involved in what we do, and that's why I love Greenshift actually. And he goes over, I'm sorry, he goes over the pain points that we have. Just need a little sip. Some problems we had in the video are indeed most likely because we didn't use a fresh install. And that's what I did the day after, or on Thursday. I decided to get a fresh install. So one issue should be fixed. Also, he mentions there's a better way to do a marquee effect, and he is right. Let's pull up the website from Greenshift, and then Learning Center. You have the Fancy Academy, and if you haven't seen the Fancy Academy, it's his way of showing what kind of neat effects you can do. For example, these are kind of effects, scrolling effects or mouse effects, and it's just basically a challenge you can set him up with in the Facebook group. So check out the Facebook group. You can find it in the Greenshift WordPress community. And there you have a challenge post also from him. He mentioned that we could use the accordion. Now, I am wondering if it's in the Fancy Academy or something else. Let me... but yeah, we can see that afterwards as well. We're still facing some FSE, full site editing, things that we don't understand, and he is certainly right. Full site editing isn't feeling like a finished product yet. Not everybody is able to use it right now, so and it's still very difficult to understand. I remember that Jamie from Poodle Press, I hope I mentioned it correctly, on his YouTube channel did a comparison for someone using a block theme. I thought it was one of his daughters. Tried to add a logo, and in the block theme it took a while in the native, the old version of WordPress themes, it worked some kind of better. So yeah, there are some pain points in full site editing indeed, even for experienced users like I see myself also in. But that being mentioned, there are some things that could be improved. And he also states the same. But still, there are many things which are pain for even experienced users, what I understood from the live stream. You have different kinds of places to set global stuff. For example, colors. You can set it on the block specifically. You can set it in Style Editor, specifically when using Greenshift, and you also have a Style Editor in the FSE. So you have different kind of levels where you can set certain things, and that gets kind of confusing at a part. So what he basically recommends is just to use the style book for the Greenshift specific plugins. And hopefully over time, WordPress will give an option to use the API to adjust the theme JSON. That would be nice. That we have some kind of way for plugins, but also for themes to adjust the colors. And then have a similar kind of theming going on. And here goes on, but by saying what I usually do is I upload a custom fonts in local font and then set it in the basic elements in the stylebook, which I think makes sense. The biggest issue is actually the colors, but For the fonts, it does make sense to just do it in Stylebook if you're using GreenShift only. If you're using multiple blocks like GreenShift, I wonder how well it will go. But yeah, that's something to consider as well. I hope, by the way, that my audio is fine. I think so. I see some things moving. Another issue he tackles is the background colors and links. And he's thinking of adding it to the stylebook, but there's a big issue that can be going on there because it's also set in global settings, usually in templates. You can set some kind of color whatsoever just specifically for links. So it might be an issue, and the same goes for the background. But overall, I think it's very nice that he is looking at the video and seeing what I am doing wrong. In the messengers, in the chat, he also gave me some feedback on how to improve certain things and what I could do better. And that's what we are going to do today, to see in a freshly installed environment how everything will go. He also has a update here. He already mentions it. Homepage settings. I think it doesn't matter how much videos we make about the difference between front page template and index templates. Still, everyone try to use the setting readings from the classic themes. So yeah, it's the FSC issue that we still have, and I don't think we'll be solving soon. So here he states, I think we'll move to workflow from 2024 theme. It's the basic theme from WordPress, but still requires something for us to do as well. On that note, here was a post of him going over that you have to change these settings. So we are moving to the same workflow as the default 2024 theme. So now the front page template in the GreenShift theme. There's a block home template in the theme. What is the difference? Not too much. I like how he writes it down. It's pretty concise and clear, if you ask me. If you have something in the settings reading as static homepage, then it will have priority over the template in the site editor. So we have settings reading. It's a setting in WordPress, and we will go over that soon. And you set it a static homepage, then it will override what you have set in the site editor. If you edit some customizations to the front-end template, it is saved in a database, but you will see no difference after the update. If you want to use the new workflow, so if you want to use how the default theme 2024 does it, then you need to remove the front page template, but you can't restore it. So once you remove the front page template, everything's gone. So I have some kind of solution that you can use as well, and we can look into that later on. So that's it for the GreenShift news and updates, and the discussion that was going on about Igor being very involved with the WordPress community, and which I like very much. So yeah, let's continue on the Thrive Capital webpage. Let me first quickly look at what he sent me about the slide as well. I'm just searching in the messages he sent me about some things that could be improved. Downloading the Google font, the fancy mark. Yeah, this one. So here's the infinite scrolling effect that can be done with a slider. So we'll be looking into that as well. But first, let's look at our freshly installed WordPress website. Where did I put it? I think I have removed it. And here we have it. So let's go and install the plugins and theme in our backend, in our dashboard. It is in the backend. I'm so used to saying backend because because of my experience past. So let's type in Greenshift and press install. Perhaps it's also nice for you to see what I'm doing. There you go. Now you should see that I am installing my theme. Let's activate and begin installing plugin. Oh, that's nice. Ding, ding, ding. And there we have everything installed. Let's activate that one as well. And now we have everything ready to go again. And let's just view our front page, and there we go. So he is saying that in reading, settings reading, you have a static page and you can select the page you want and it will override your home page. I am curious how this works. And he also states that we have to go to edit side and that we have to remove the front page. But if we do that, everything will be gone. I don't see any option to remove it. So before we want everything to be gone, I think it's smart to just open up the code editor. You do it by pressing the 3 dots and then going to code editor. In here you see the code of everything and just copy and paste it into a notepad. And there we go. Now we have a backup for our front page. Now I am wondering how you can remove this. Night mode, back to button. So let's exit. We can't remove it here. So we did save this, right? It's a sample page. I also want to discourage search engines from finding this website. I mean, it's just our demo website. Now I am wondering how you can remove it. Because here you have front page, but you have no way of deleting it. This only on an old version then. Have a look. No front template. So no, there's no front page template in Greenshift theme. There's a block home page home template in theme. I wonder. It's just freshly installed, so I wonder if there's any difference actually. So I wonder if there are any changes then. Or it isn't pushed live yet. That could also be a possibility. But yeah, let's change that back then for now. Also, let's set up the permalinks to have post name. I usually like to do that. And sometimes even category. This is usually the way I structure my, if I have some blogs. So let's save that. And let's go into the editor and start changing our header template. So there we go. Header template. It's fully synced. Now, what I have learned is that instead of the group option is already very useful. I have a nice tutorial about how you can make it sticky very easily. In the advanced settings, you can set it to sticky on scroll. And I'll go over more settings there. But today I want to focus on recreating the Drive capital menu. So let's do that again. I don't have my I don't have the logo. But what I can do is that go to glorify. I have a file already available. I will need to get the style sheet. I've made it, or the overview. Here we have design. Copy. So we're basically doing the same thing as last week, but hopefully this time we can do it faster because we already know some things, right? Let's see. There we go. So previous live stream, I used container, which will span the full width. The difficulty about it is that you can't make it the size of the body. So if you want a different body size, it's actually if you want the size of the body, it's actually recommended to use row. So let's go ahead and add the green shift row. And there we have one column. And here you can set it to full width or boxed. So this means that it will get the size of the content if it isn't full width. Like you see in the GreenShift website, it will always stay within these margins. You see here some kind of lines, and it will not grow bigger than that, but it can go smaller. So that's why it is recommended to use the row. In here, we would like to have our site title, and its tag is review drive. And let's again change my topography, and within the heading we can make it so that setting this to paragraph is actually better, because we don't want this to be our H1 for every page. Now, I read some guides that it doesn't matter anymore nowadays, but I don't want to risk it. So let's hit save, and let's add our colors. So green shift stylebook, and we'll create a new one. So let's start by adding the colors. The first one is black. I can leave again a link to this page in the chat. So if you would like to, you can follow along. And if you just want to sit there and listen, it's fine as well. And put it in. So that's a link for the document I've been using. Let's save this. Set it to black because we want all our elements and text to use our green shift colors. And I guess we have to refresh the page before we can see them. So let's refresh. And in text, green shift palette, why isn't it available? So I guess I didn't press save. Oops. Add another time, and add this one as well. So now we definitely have press save. Updated. That we have our colors, and now it's available here as well. Let's set the text colors to all be able to see in the dark version as well. Text colors off-white. Yeah, I should say off-white, right? There should be still one here. Yeah, there we go. And let's change the button as well. We're busy with changing the default ways things work. Blue. And let's change the spacing. Let me see if I can fetch. This one can be gone. You may be gone. And you may be gone. And we have to look at drive capital. And there are more of an outline like a pill-shaped button. So we can remove this one. And then add a border. Border. 1 pixel. This color with a radius of, I don't know. I like to work with EM, so I will to EM. Fun fact, by the way, if you set it to EM, if you set it to a measurement, but it is percentage, then you get this weird looking thing. But if you set it to, for example, viewer width, it will just go around. So it's a nice thing I learned from Gavin Powell's videos. Next, let's remove the background color. We just want it to be the black one. Maybe we can set it for transparent to make our lives easier down the road. And I think there's a lot of spacing still going on, so we have to decrease the spacing. Like 0.5. And the bottom as well. And then EM, left and right. I usually like my left and right to be double the size of my top and bottom spacing. Now I see that it still changes color on hover, so let's change that as well. The hover color should be blue. And now it's more in line. Like the Drive Capital websites. Now they also have their fonts capitalized, so we can also change that for these ones as well. So let's quickly do that. Color casing. Change them all. Except for the body text, that should be fine. Save. And for the site identity, I can upload my logo. And these are videos. Let's go to my logos. There we go. Select site icon. Drive example. Hit save. Now we have everything for the basics ready. Now we can leave and we can upload our fonts as well. We already have it ready. So we want to use our Givo font. And instead of Anton, I'm going to use Antonio because it's taller. I'm living in the Netherlands, so that's why I did find everything related to the Netherlands itself instead of the other ones. So let's download, zip, and download that one as well. And let me export. Extract all. now we have it exported. So let's go back to our fonts and let's copy this text. Static. I wonder what kind of fonts are in there. Those are all TTF. Does mean it isn't optimized for web if I remember correctly. This is the variable font. So let's just see how this works then. Italic. We just assume that we will not be using italic. Open. And here we set an archivo. Use only for fonts which are attached to global elements. Maybe we'll add it to global, maybe not. And the second one is Antonio. And let's see, there's also a variable font, also a true type. Downloads Antonio. Open. And we hit save. Now we have our basic fonts available. Now, I don't know if this will work correctly. So, yeah, we will see, right? But I assume this is working good enough. Else why would Google only send me those true type fonts files instead of everything? So let's set up that one as well in our style book. Hey, we did save it. Why is it back again? Perhaps I made a mistake. So we want to have it archivo, and we want it to have full text, and we want it to be, no, the heading 1 should be the Antonio. We'll see that later as well. Did I accidentally load the same one? You're not allowed. Oh dear, what's happening? Clean all. Okay. Let's save. Settings. What's this? I couldn't open it with using that one, but I can open it like this. We did set Antonio, and this is Antonio variable. Archivo Antonio. So there should be a difference between those two, right? Am I right? Antonio. Hello, Leonte. I hope I say your name right. It isn't changing. I mean, I don't see any difference between those two, and I'm even wondering if it's using my font, and that's probably because the true type fonts are the only ones that I downloaded, and this is the result of it, I guess. So instead of converting every font, we can do that, right? Squirrel font, or what was it? Font squirrel. Archivo. Oh, is that one available? Yes, it is. Bold italic. And only the true type font is available. So I'm wondering if this works correctly then. Because now I do see something changing, but I don't see it changing to my my preferred font. But let's have a look on the website then, I guess. Remove this. It doesn't look like it. I assume that we still need Antonio. For my font family. So I don't know why this is still. It gets the font family Antonio, and I assume that because Antonio isn't great available, that this is the issue. So then we are back at the other things, but let's go and continue on doing this because it does set our font, but we don't see it right away. So we can. I wonder if I did something wrong. So let's ask Igor along the way if I did something wrong in this way, or that we need another type of font. I guess that's the issue actually. But Google doesn't provide the other types. So I am wondering how we can fix that. There used to be a way that you can use a font and then add optimal. And you can download your kit. Because it's free, I think Google wouldn't have any issues with me creating the other variants. So let's just see. And which one did we upload? I think we did upload the Antonio one. Yeah, here we have the other ones as well. And so now we can fully upload them. Let's finish this up. This text should be that color. The font weight should be very thin. The button is Archivo. The letter grade should be capitalized. Then our background should be black, but we want 0 opacity. And then we add a border radius to make it pill-shaped. And we want this color for the border radius. And on background, the hover, we want it blue. So here we are again. Press save. Instead of leaving the page, because I'm afraid that we will have the same thing again, we can just check if it's set, and it is. So now I think I can leave the page and let's go into settings again. Again, a error message. If we go by this, so that's something Igor could look into. And now we can add our Antonio converted web fonts. WAV Insterative as well. Those not. Here we can save those. And let's add the other one as well. Swirly font. And we'll put this in the chat as well. it's a very tool that I used to work with when long before the day when I was younger. And then you were able to just convert your fonts to other types or web fonts, actually. Which back in the day was very hard to get. Now it's relatively easy. But still, there are some things still not very good, like this one from Google, getting the true type only. And I guess we need the other ones as well. Let's refresh this. Does it look that it uses Antonio now? If you ask me, it doesn't. So I'll need to check with Igor to see if I did something wrong, if there's other things also needed. Archivo. Yeah, that's the one we want actually. So let's upload the other files as well. Downloads. Evo. Let's save. Let's hit save again. Let's go away from the page. These are, by the way, the add-ons you can buy. You don't need it for most of the things for GreenShift, but it can be easy sometimes. For example, I really love their advanced animations and the query add-on. And when I did a affiliate marketing website, this was also very powerful and very nice to have. And the charts I used as well. So I was all in on the GreenShift stuff. Let's see. Let's go back to settings. So we have uploaded all the web font types. Use only for fonts which are attached to global elements. Yes, and these will be attached to global elements. But because we want to set it in our style book. And here we have Antonio. You want Archivo. You want Archivo. I don't know how you'd pronounce it actually. And this one needs to be also Archivo. And this one also wants to be Archivo. And now we save. The text is normal. And this also Archivo. Let's hit refresh and see if every change has been done. Yes. And let's view it in our front end. Perhaps I made a mistake. I don't know. It doesn't look like it's loading. If we do it in private browser, I don't see it either. So I will do it the way I did last week. Google Archivo. We just select everything and copy and paste it in our CSS. Add import. So for this, I also still like to use a plugin called Code Snippets. With Code Snippets, you can add custom code. It's one of my favorite. The other ones are also very well known. The WP code, I mean, is very well known. But I like to use this one. Bought a lifetime license once, and it's very nice to use just for most things. Let's add a style section. So there's a little bit of HTML. And I hope you can help me figure out what I did wrong. Because I am assuming I did something wrong. But if an experienced user is unable to do so, his words, by the way, then we need to discover what can be improved. It changes. Let's add here CSS, font CSS, and I wanted to load in the body section. Save changes and activate on the front end. So if we now refresh, there we go, it's using our fonts. Why am I seeing this? Because I set the DevTools, of course. So one more thing I like to change is in the stylebook. This one looks good. And I want to be a very fat weight for the for my heading sections. And then I can change it later if I think I need it. So let's change this as well. Font weight 29. Hit save. Refresh the page. There we go. Now we can continue on changing our header. So let's do that. Remove everything we don't need for distraction's sake. So, like I said, you need to use row. It's one of the options. You can also use the default one, but I like to use row to keep it more in the greenshift way. Let's add a gradient background because the drive capital looks like it's fading out here, you see? And I think this is done by just adding a gradient in the top section and then slowly let it grade out. So let's add a gradient. Let's add black there and black there. And the bottom one should be transparent. So we can set it to 180 and it goes downwards. Let's see if we can make it a little bit bigger, because I did notice there's a early start with those changes. With the fading, you can see there's a light fading already happening right here. Here you see the cut between the normal content and the fade out. So I think it would be approximately be like that. And let's add our navigation as well. So add after / navigation. And then we have our navigation. And we want it to be aligned from left to right. So we can do this very easily with Flexbox. And then have it between. But it is at the same. So it's aligned differently. So here it's aligned centered. And the other one is aligned to the top. So that's a little bit weird. If we set the column to align to top, this one goes there as well. But then we have the difficulty that it doesn't line up with our site name. And we can fix that by changing the height of the column. If we are able to do that. But I guess not. So the other way to approach this, instead of setting a height for our row, is setting this to center. Should it be bottom then? It's a shame that we can't set for both of them to be the same. And then just add a padding of, I don't know, a few EM. Not all the way around, only at the bottom. Save. and check the page. Now we have it in there. Here we can see that the color of the navigation isn't the right color. And we should be able to just change it in text. And here we don't have our colors available. I don't know if we have to, let's see, in the dashboard again to see if we're not able to change that one. So because it's header, it doesn't matter that much. You could use it once. No, not navigation. I mean, it should be consistent on all the pages, right? And it doesn't matter that much that you have to set it. But this one specifically to have this color should be fine. Maybe less maintainable, but it's all right. And let's see what capital drive does. Is it capitalized? So let's also do that by changing appearance. Letter casing. And should be decapitalized. That is the kind of font. I think regular is fine. Maybe light. Save. And now it's white. Now let's make it sticky. By going to spacing, no, by going to in our advanced tab, going to position and then set it to fixed. We want it to be fixed 0 on top of everything. Maybe increase this. And we want to stretch it from left to right. And if we hit save, there should be a fixed section. There we have it. With a nice fading out effect. Now you don't see the full effect because of the admin bar, so just know. But there we have our header. Now, as you can see, it will snap to the content width. And it has some spacing already in there by default. So one of the way you can get rid of the spacing is by just setting the spacing to 0. And we also want this to be full width. So let's change the content width to full. And if we refresh the page, now it's the full size. Now let's take a look how it actually looks. And there we have our header again. Pretty nice if you ask me. I do think the spacing on the top side is it's a little bit too much. So let's see if we can remove that. And I see that the title block gets a lot of padding margin to the top. So let's remove that as well. Select the title, then go to style, and then in typography or dimensions, margin. And we should set all margins to 0. Hit save. And now they're gone. And if we refresh the page, it's more on top, so that looks better. Now let's get to the next section. So this was quicker than the previous time, I guess. We did have some issues with the font, so I hope I will get some feedback from that one. Let's go into our front page. So templates, front page, and let's change that. We want to remove everything in here, because why not? And we want to add a row as well. but not this row. It should be the other row. Slash row. Because this way we can decide if we want something to be fixed or not, to be boxed or not. This will make our lives easier later on, if needed. And let's also add the margin for the top side. So spacing, margin, top, something like 5 EM. Save. But now we see that our website is white, and that's something we need to change in the style options. So in style options, not layout, but colors, the background wanted to be as black as it can get. So now it's blue. Let's see. Save, reload. And there we have all colors in there. And we can leave the page. And there we have a black background. So we can reload this one as well. And let's go to the next section for Drive. The previous time we did that by adding a container, but perhaps this time it's not needed because we already have a row section. So let's add a title. It's called a font title heading. And let's write down Drive. And I want it to be the H1. So we get our tall letter. And it needs to, this section actually can go full width. So what we can do as well is just add a container because it's a group of things. I don't think this is needed for now. So let's remove that and just add some spacing. We set it to 5 EM before, so let's do it again. Let's add a heading, and the heading is Drive. How are you guys following along? Do you follow everything I do? Do I speak clearly? I think I can mumble sometimes. So let me know if it's unclear. So we add Drive. Let's change the size of Drive. And I believe the last time this is just a little bit of magic numbering. So 47.8. 0.8. It is not the width, it's the font size. So I changed the wrong one. 218. And the font width needs to be, I guess it's still very thick actually. Save. And there we have our Drive. I think we can still increase the size. Let's use inspect to just explore. The heading is set, and here you see also the view width, so that makes it easier. You see it live updating. Let's also change the line height to be 1 EM. Normal inherit initial 1 EM. It's still very big. Maybe we should just increase it to 0.5, 0.1. The line height needs to be 0. Even then, there's a lot of spacing going on. I see my horizontal bar now showing up. So instead of 50, 5, 6, 5, 8, 7, 6, 5. So this is what our view width should be, 50 and then a little bit more. Just let's keep it for 50.5 for now. Save. And let's look at the Capital website. Oh, that's annoying. They have some spacing on the left and the right as well. So perhaps we should set this as well. The previous time I did that was by going into dashboard and in GreenShift stylebook, add a variable of spacing, and the variable is normal. Let's add spacing normal. That will be 12.2 view width, and this is a size. And now we can set it save. Maybe we can make it 2.5. It will be easier for us. Variable spacing is the size, and it's a normal spacing of 2.5 view width. Now we can change our. So if we change our spacing later on, it will make our lives a little bit easier. Let's add. I think I need to refresh this page before I can use the spacing. Spacing left and right should be spacing. Spacing. And let's hit save. I think we should also do that in our header to keep it consistent all the way around. So let's add some spacing of 2.5. And this one as well. Let's go back. Then let's see how everything looks right now. New.techies.review. And it looks nice. There's a lot of spacing in this one. So I guess we need to do some tweaking to get this one proper. And I also see that there's something going on there. Now, I assume that is because of the full bar down here. So if we decrease the view width, I would expect actually that would save the issue. The reason I'm concerned about this one is because it doesn't reach all the way to the end. And that's because there's a margin and that one should be padding, I guess. So let's change that as well. Row spacing instead of margin. So let's reset that one. And it should be padding. Because we want our background fade out to reach all the way across. So let's save. I'm going back to our front page. Now we need this to recreate this section. I think it's like 75 height. So we set our height of our container, and the viewer height will be something like 75. And the spacing, the overflow needs to be hidden. And this way you create this effect. And there's a lot of spacing going on because of the font, I guess, and also because of the header. So let's fix that by just removing it. Hit save, refresh the page. That's already a little bit better, but there's still a lot of spacing going on because of the line height, I assume. Line height 0. That's better. Now something else is going on, but let's first fix that. No, this one was correct. Let's change the line height. Line height should be 0. And should the container have more spacing to the top? Ooh, now it's destroying my page. I wonder how this looks. Let's have a look. No, that's not good. Why is this happening? Is it because the margin up in here? No, I didn't expect it to be. This could be smaller on the website. Does look better. But we forgot to add a block. Because if you see here, there's greatness in our backyard. Well, let's do that part first. Very quickly. Add after slash heading. Let's copy the text. Oh, greatness in our backyard. But I don't want it to be this heading. I want to be able to transform it to the other heading. But for now, let's add another heading. There we go. This one should be the good one. The one that we want. Let's remove this section. And let's change this H2 to have a view width of 5. How big did they set it? Have a look. Compute it. 16 pixels. 1/2 EM. But it does change, see? We could set it to still use the fluent version and then add a size width of a maximum amount of 50 characters. Let's decrease it until we have what we want. And this width should be 100%. So just make sure that the max width of this container will be 14 characters or the full width of the website. Now let's see. There we have our section. Now we just need to add it to the container. And because we have set the spacing as our variable, it's very easy to add it. And then we don't have to think about it. So there's the spacing. Now we just need to have it more down. And I guess it maybe a bit bigger as well. So let's change the size. Extra large. Even larger. But I want the height to be 1 EM. Maybe an even tighter. And let's close those. So that looks a little bit better. And let's add a padding to top of, what was it? 3 AM. Right, 7 AM it is. And let's change this one to be gone, and perhaps set it just like the other one as spacing, that we have a consistent spacing all around. That usually looks nicer. Now the only thing we need to do is adjust drive again. Oh, what's happening here? And the spacing is set too much, I guess. Five, 2, 3, 4. Here it doesn't look like it's getting cut off. Nice. It's what you get with using free fonts. I mean, here now we have some extra room and it doesn't match up with the section above. Also, there's some kind of spacing going on right here that I don't like. And that's the padding. Of which block? Is it that the row? So I don't want to have that. No. To have any gutter. Spacing. Padding. Out of margin left and right. So there's a spacing being added, a padding to the row. So let's add it. Then here we have a row. Let's just, padding is already set to nothing. Let's also set the margin to nothing then. Save. Why is it still there? I don't understand. That's removed. We have a heading. This is width, and then we have the row, and it has no padding. I want to have no padding. So let's reset it again. And go back. Let's add afterwards a video box and insert it from YouTube. Let me quickly find something that we can use for this video. Let's see if we have a nice one. I guess this one is nice. I live in Eindhoven, so I want to use a video from Eindhoven. And let's position this one to absolute. 0, 0, 0, 0. And this one needs to be the index 1. And the heading needs to also be positioned absolute. Top 0, left and right 0. And this needs to have a z-index of 2. Then we set the background to be black and the filters to darken. And if we hit save, nothing shows. Let's see. That was the way it previously did work. Let's set it to autoplay. Model spreading suggested videos. I don't want that. Enable overlay. No, also need to see that. Hit save. So I am looking into why it doesn't work. Remove that one. I see that our video isn't working. So I guess we have to change some things. Finish video. Let's see what kind of options we also have. Perhaps I used the wrong one. YouTube. This one should be fine, right? It's showing up in here. Is it? Are you not able to use it embeddedly? Luckily, there are more videos, so let's just check it out. Change video. Change URL. Save. Save again. And let's refresh the page. Let's see if it does work this time. And it doesn't. Because I'm in incognito. So is there something else going on? Let's remove that one. And let's just duplicate to see if the video is loaded on the front end. doesn't look like it. Let's add afterwards and add a YouTube video. Where are my options to select one? Is it being hidden? That answers my question. Remove that one, and in the video, are we able to set the positions? It does show now. So that's great. So I don't know, something is wrong with the video box. That would be not great, because I'd like to use that one more. Video box. Insert from mural. This one, add. Here it looks like it has been added. But here it doesn't look like it's loading. Which is a bit of a pain because we don't get the options we have in the video box. The video box is very nice because it gives you the ability to add a different kind of contrast as well, so that you get a black and white in background options. If you scroll down, you can set the mix blend, or you can reduce it to grayscale, make it a little bit darker, a little bit wider. Yeah, like I want to do well, what something. So that's a shame, the video won't load, and I don't know why. Let's see. If there's something going on, but I can't, for me, just figure out how we would fix this. So for now, I will just try to find the changes that have been made. Back ratio, fit, cover, border image. Don't have it. That's blocking on right now, so it should be fine. So I don't understand why it's not showing. But like always, there's always a workaround. We just grab this. And add a CSS class in our dashboard. Green shift settings. And then we have actually, this needs to be added in the plugin. Snippets. And then we add our font CSS. So this will be just all our CSS, I guess. We want our delete. wrong one. We want to delete this one. We can just add a new class. So dot contrast, and we add a filter for these settings. Hit save changes. Go to the YouTube options, and then add our class here. Save, and then we should see our changes happening on the front end. There we go. Now it still does look a little weird. I guess this is because of the jargon. So we have to play around with our of the line height. Yep, there we go. Line height. Let's change it to 0.75. Line height 0.75 pm. And the position should be all the way around. But still doesn't look great. And this is because there a margin in there. Margin top 0. Yes, there is a margin in there. 0. And if we press save, it should look a little bit better. There we go. I guess the quality of the YouTube video isn't the best. We can't fix that. And we can't set it to autoplay, so that's also a thing. That's not the best. But it is what it is. So if we now check, we have our drive section in there. Would like the spacing to be less. So we need to scooch over typography a little bit to align it with this section. So we will add a letter spacing, but I guess this doesn't what we want. Nope. We'd put the top right or left side. We'd add some -61, and then we can increase the font width a little bit as well. And we change it, just play around a little bit to see when the E is getting cut off. And as you can see, it's still on view, and now it gets a little bit cut off. So let's set it to 52. 52, hit save. And now we have section again. We forgot to add a margin, negative position, I mean. Minus 3 AM. Let's see what it does. Doesn't do much. I think it did a little bit too much, perhaps. Set it to pixels. There we go. And now it's all aligned. Lovely. So the next section would be what Igor sent me, and he said we should use a carousel slider and then loop autoplay, not disable after interactions. All items are visible. Center mode. Free mode. Vertical direction. And space between. Let's see what he has in his fancy academy as well about the section. And see academy, and it should be orient isometric, murky effect, or infinite scroll. Let's see how we set this up. Select all the parts you want. Duplicate them. And then wrap them around in a slider. Then go to your settings. Set the amount of items you want to show. So paragraph 1. Let's just see. What they have in there. So I guess this is just copy pasting. ATL. Design blocks. Well, let's first just add everything we need, right? How can we add more slides? And then we have house, two partners, BNA, ID to RPO, CLT, capital, DM, true, then ID, IND, capital, MSP, true, already, page, PH, ID, SDF, capital, XY, YYZ, true partners. All right. Add the contents of them. True partners. DNA. ID to IPO. IPO. I think it is something to do with stocks. CMH. True partners. Then ID IND. Capital comes to you. MSP. Through partners. Or RD. BGH. ID to IPO. SDF. Capital comes to you. Hi there, Ashan. You want to code, but you don't understand JavaScript? Well, that's hard. I don't know if I can help you with that. Can we remove the section? Remove. Nice of you to join, by the way. I'm using Greenshift for most of my website creations, so I don't know if I can help you at all. I am proficient, but not on the recent kind of things of JavaScript, to be honest. Let's see. Oh, we missed something important, I guess. Let's go back a little bit. He wraps everything around. That's the items. And the slider needs to move full width. Well, that's already the case. He disables the arrows. That's arrows. Disables that one. Bullet navigation can also be disabled. And what does he do next? Oh, it's buffering. Loop, do not disable. Free mode and linear transition. All right. I missed something, I think. I don't want me to do this. I can see what's happening in the video. We do 15,000. So can speed up this one as well. 2153. And to show more. And he also set this one to free mode, linear. Let's see what else he does. All items in center mode is not enabled, so I need to disable that. And set the delay to 0. Then he does add some padding to the top and bottom. We will add a margin This doesn't change anything. Let's see what else he does. He changes 1200 and then looks on mobile how it looks. Or 12,000 I should say. And then checks on mobile. And then just play around with the number. So I guess this is the size. And the slides look very big. Can we change around the spacing? Bright. Let's see actually how it looks live. It looks like it doesn't work at all. But the content is in there. Yeah, doesn't look like it works. Doesn't seem like anything is actually wrong. Did I mess up some settings? So yeah, I guess that's it for today. We did a little bit faster than previous week. We managed to get pretty far. Again, getting the header in, so that's nice. See how this looks actually on mobile. So we need to, well, it looks fine, but we can use the dark mode for this version. And the viewer height messes up a little bit. And in case of responsiveness, but that can be fixed very easily. And I don't see the slider working right now. Can try to set it faster, see if it works then. And let's set it to 500. It doesn't look like anything is happening. but all the slides are in there. As you can see, here's the next one. So I don't know what's happening. It doesn't seem to work that well. Perhaps I did forget to set something. But yeah, it's what it is for now. Oh, maybe just the size. Nice. We have a specific height. So this is what we ended up with for today. We created the webpage again with the menu and the logo in there. The greatest section, the drive background, and some part of the carousel stuff, but it doesn't seem to work. So yeah, that's it. So that's it for today. I hope you liked following along a little bit to see me struggle on some part of this. And I hope that I can help Igor more with these kinds of things, just to let him see how we try to recreate stuff, and sometimes things seem to be broken or whatsoever. And this was, by the way, a freshly installed instance. I'm pretty happy actually that we managed to get this section faster than the last time, although responsiveness could be worked on, but that's something for next week. So thank you for watching, and if you like this kind of videos, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you will get some more web creation tips and tricks. And don't forget to like if you like this video, and check out the previous live stream I did right over here. Then you can see what the differences are and the mistakes I made back then. So I will see you next week.